Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can I get a 5x5? Hello and good morning, everybody in the chat. I'm assuming. Thank you, Numa Chan, 5x5. No longer need to assume. Numa Chan to the rescue. Dr. Trevor, 5x5. Bless y'all. It is the 27th of March, 2024. I believe it's a Wednesday. I also believe it's a full moon based upon the behavior of the coyotes, my livestock guardian dogs, my roosters, and my baby, and people. So I'm pretty sure it's a full moonish. And if you've ever wondered, what does Bear look like on 1 hour and 47 minutes of sleep? Like this. Ta-da! We did it. All right. We're going to do the brief. I'm going to do my best not to waste your time this morning. Shalom, Stephen McDougal in the chat. Copper Goat 5x5. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to everybody listening on the podcast platform. We're in the top 1% of podcasts in the world, which is interesting because I pay zero attention, literally zero attention to the podcast. So cheers. Mazel tov, podcast people. You can't see me. Probably in your best interest, if we're all being honest. I got a voice for radio. Shout out to the Iridium Group for the cool shirt that I'm wearing today. It was at the top of the stack. Appreciate you, Snowbird. All right, we're going to look at mass casualty incidents, international tensions, and Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs. Now, of course, like 40% of y'all are not subscribed to the show. So if you're one of those poor bastards that's not subscribed to the show, maybe today's the day you pull your head out of your ass, you click the subscribe button, ring the little bell icon, put a thumbs up over somewhere on the screen, whatever, leave a comment for the YouTube algorithmic robots. And for everybody else that knows the drill, you know what to do. Make the YouTube algorithmic robots happy, please, and thank you. Aaron Bear, good morning. Okay. And of course, the show is brought to you by the creator of the universe, who for some odd reason loves me enough to have not killed me yet, which I'm super duper thankful for. A little tiny startup company called Refuge Medical that I founded in my barn. And the patrons, clap hand for the patrons. Love you guys and girls. You guys are amazing. Link in the description. Economic engine of the Bear Nation right there. So for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about mass casualty incidents, and we've been talking about how Department of Homeland Security and FEMA et al. And other federal muckety mucks have been quietly, and in some cases not so quietly, telling certain jurisdictions, public safety agencies and organizations, and la hospital, the hospital, plural hospitals, not one hospital, but like all of them. Hey, you should be re-upped on your mass casualty incident certifications. You should make sure you have an inventory of mass casualty incident stuff: gauze, tape, gloves, disinfectant, stretchers, beds, oxygen, BVMs, triage cards, chest seals, nasos, things like that. And then, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. And then curiously, some scumbags, approximately 11 scumbags over there in Mother Russia, acted naughtily at, what do they call that place? What was it? I think they called it Drink Water Bear. I think that was the name of the place. Crocus City Hall. That's where it is, in Moscow. 4 dudes shot up the place, and then there were 7 more dudes waiting in the wings as kind of the logistic arm of this operation. And of course, Vladimir Putin has said that these scumbags are 100% tied to Ukraine. Therefore, we must escalate from a special military operation in Ukraine to a war in Ukraine. And then our White House and our federal muckety mucks came out almost immediately and said, no, it wasn't. We had nothing to do with it. It wasn't us. It wasn't Ukraine. We had nothing to do with it. And Russia was like, sure. Now, and then apparently also the State Department had been issuing warnings to Americans in that region and globally, hey, you should be aware of potential for mass casualty incidents, including in places like concert halls around the globe. And then we just happen to have a mass casualty incident. Super curious. Now, that wasn't on American soil, But yesterday morning-ish, approximately 1:30 in the morning, I think it was 1:26 a.m., the MV Dolly, like Salvador Dali, not like the dolly your daughter plays with, DALI. The Dolly smashed into a bridge in Baltimore. I think you guys are tracking on that. Like everybody's aware that that has happened. And there's what's the technical term? Conflabulation. There's some question as to whether or not this was just a maintenance issue or if there was some type of terror involved in this. But when the ship, 984 feet long, if I'm remembering correctly, when the ship slammed into the pilings of the whatever it's called bridge over there in Baltimore, that goes across the Patapsco River, something like that. The Scott Key, Francis Scott Key Bridge, the container ship smashed into it at 1:28 a.m. The power was going off and on, and it was veering. There's a YouTube channel called What's Happening in Shipping, who did shout out to that guy. Never met him before. Watched this channel like twice before the last 48 hours, but he's got a really good video on the GPS data on the ship as compared to the real-time footage of the ship smashing into the bridge, because it looks like in the video that the ship kind of button hooked around and did almost a 180 and then kind of just coincidentally smashed into the pilings. But at least according to that guy, What's Happening in Shipping on YouTube, that's not actually what happened. It's almost like a trick of the camera or whatever, because it was the MV Dolly was more or less tracking in a straight line and then veered, once it lost power, veered off of the main channel into the piling. Now, what's super duper interesting is, according to the Blaze, this is the same ship that in Belgium in 2016 also crashed and had electrical issues. So there seems to be an issue with electrical issues leading to crashes for the MV Dolly, because it crashed in Belgium in 2016, according to Vessel Finder. And let's see what else here. Oh, also super interesting. The company that owns the ship, Synergy Maritime Group, is like super invested in diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we believe, the big we, I wasn't there. I'm pretty sure you weren't there, but we believe, based upon reporting, that the person who was at the helm was a pilot from the port in Baltimore, the port of Baltimore, and the crew was not the one who was piloting the ship. We don't know, but the power definitely went out according to the video, and then it looked like it kind of came back on again, and then oopsie daisy, ship smashed into a bridge piling. Why do we care, other than that's interesting? Doesn't happen every day. We care for a couple of reasons, because there were 20 souls on that bridge, which makes it our second mass casualty incident of the last couple of days. Coincidence, I'm sure. And there were approximately 20 people were on the bridge, were missing after the bridge came down, and it came down catastrophically, like in a matter of seconds. It looks like it's a suspension bridge, or was a suspension bridge, and it is no longer a bridge at all. It is now debris that is spanning the Patapsco River, or whatever the hell it's called. They're estimating that the port is going to be shut down for inbound and outbound shipborne traffic for approximately 4 months. It's going to cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 million to clean up the bridge and put a new one there. And I bring this up, A, because again, mass casualty incident, how coincidental, and B, for you in your planning for when the balloon goes up and the zombies start eating all my neighbors and I got to bug out to the wilderness, how many alternate routes do you have? Because I believe that bridge was part of the Interstate 695 system that goes around Baltimore, and that's going to be a traffic mess for years, maybe, as a result of this bridge falling down. So how many alternate routes for your SHTF bug out plan do you have? Is there more than one way to get in and out of where you live? Do all those ways need to necessarily be paved? Depends. Depends on who you are and what kind of vehicle you have and where you live and how much rainfall you've had. Things to think about. So maybe on your lunch break today, go ahead and audit your ability to get in and out of your AO, your area of operations. Let's see what prices go up because of this. Oh, Dr. Trevor, it's the second busiest port on the Atlantic coast, I believe, based upon some very brief investigation that I've done this morning. And apparently, like the 11th busiest port in the United States of America currently. And so, yeah, everything just here we have another reason to raise prices on insert thing here. Will shipping be affected? 100%. How badly? I don't know. I don't know what the port of Baltimore is known for other than being in Baltimore, which, let's be honest, is probably not a great place to be, period. It's in Maryland, and Maryland's by Washington, D.C., and it's just, yuck. You know that thing when you, like, just puke in your mouth a little? Yeah, that just happened to me. It's terrible. So just throwing that out there too. Coincidentally, 2 mass casualty incidents in the last number of days after a whole bunch of federales saying, hey, y'all should be aware of mass casualty incidents. I just found that super curious. Now, on to the written brief regarding international tensions. The latest development on the international stage is demonstrating some increased international tension for the Estados Unidos. That's us. Now, you would be thinking, don't you mean the United States, Bear? No, we are now the Estados Unidos. Enough people have come across the southern border from Mexico and Central and Southern Americas that we now all need to just learn Spanish, the Espanol. You got to learn how to habla on the Espanol. So we are now the Estados Unidos. First, the Estados Unidos and Israel are experiencing a widening divide after last Monday, when the United Nations Security Council adopted a resolution that demanded an immediate cessation of hostilities and a 2-week ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Sounds reasonable, unless you've been trying to kill each other since the dawn of time, in which case, a bunch of dudes in suits and wingtips saying, we strongly condemn the actions that Israel has taken on behalf of blah, 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 is probably not going to do anything. In what appears to be a withdrawal of what was previously unwavering support, the Estados Unidos abstained from the vote, and in turn, Israel canceled a high-level visit to Washington. Boo-hoo, hurt feelings, we're not friends anymore. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office issued a statement that said, quote, this is a clear retreat from the consistent position of the United States and the Security Council since the beginning of this war, end quote. One senior resident scholar at Washington's Arab Gulf States Institute. Dude, if you live in or near Washington, D.C., you can start an institute for anything. I'm going to start an institute for chugging water from Nalgene bottles, get some federal funding, monetize all my shenanigans, hang out with my homies, use that to fund a whole bunch of black ops. Plus, we'll already be in D.C., so a whole bunch of people that we need to take special interest in will already be there. You know what I mean? Who's with me? The Institute for Chugging Water from Nalgene Bottles.com. Probably .org. We would probably 501c3 that, because who wants to pay taxes? I mean, we're doing the work of the people. Who wants to pay taxes? Let's see. One senior resident scholar at Washington's Arab Gulf States Institute told CNBC, quote, the U.S. declining to protest Israel from a resolution it passionately objects to by not providing a veto is an extraordinary thing, end quote. Previously, the Estados Unidos vetoed 3 similar UN resolutions, so this departure from the norm indicates a new low has been reached between the 2 allied countries. Chugalug.org. Tony John, I'm in. Chugalug.org. Let's do it. Somebody buy that domain right now and just email me the passcode. Sounds good? Good. Actually, don't email me at all. Today's probably not the day for that, if I'm being completely honest. Tomorrow. Buy it today. Email me tomorrow. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller added some interesting context to the matter, saying, quote, that the reason we didn't veto this resolution is because there were also things in that resolution that were consistent with our long-term position. Most importantly, that there should be a ceasefire and that there should be the release of hostages, which is what we understood also to be the government of Israel's position. So it is a bit surprising and unfortunate that they are not going to apparently attend these meetings, end quote. In other words, big words, maybe we're not such good friends anymore. Now, why would that be? Could it be that on the far left, there's a whole bunch of radical Islamic, big T words, rhymes with terrorist, people that are staunch supporters of the far left, and they have a problem with this little conflict that just recently uh, caught flame again over there in the Middle East? Again, they've been systematically trying to destroy each other for at least 3,500 years. The sons of Ishmael, the sons of Jacob, they don't get along. They don't get along. They've never gotten along. They're probably not ever going to get along until Messiah returns and just whips everybody's ass. Read Revelation 19. Everybody's going to get some unless you're on Team Yeshua. And not a whole lot of people over there in that part of the world are on Team Yeshua. So they're just going to be getting a smackdown. Like, he's going to jump off the top rope with a flying elbow, and then pick him up and do a suplex. It's going to be horrendous for them. So yeah, they don't get along. They're not currently getting along. They're probably not going to get along. And Pastor Joe calls him the sock puppet. Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., a whole bunch of his constituency is in support of them not getting along. And so now the sock puppets administration has to feign support for the people that don't support Israel in the conflict over there. Regardless of where you land on the Israel versus Hamas thing, the politics involved is just exhausting. You know what I mean, Liberty? Good morning. Badger, good morning. Guy, the Hodgepodge Garage, good morning. Everybody in the chat, you're tremendous. Believe it. Is anybody else, like, just from an economical standpoint, anybody else just ready for mean tweets and 4-letter words again? Tremendous. Cash. I'm going to pay cash. The best. Green rectangles. Believe it. Like, I'm just economically speaking, just purely economically speaking, not talking about Operation Warp Speed. I'm not talking about banning bump stocks. I'm not talking about locker room talk. I'm talking about the economy, and maybe, as a slight aside, tertiary benefit, the entire world not all trying to kill us at the same time. Just me. Now, this dude, Orange Man, not Messiah, just so we're on the same page here. And yeah, not Messiah, not gonna save the world, but I would super duper like $1.50 gasoline again. That'd be cool. Just saying. Super duper like to not spend $500 to $600 when I go to the grocery store. That'd be cool. Like, super duper like to be able to get the components that I need to operate my business and be able to pay my people. That'd be cool. So now, and here's the illusion, right? Time doesn't actually flow backwards. So even if we do get another Orange Man for 4 more years, um, is the Orange Man we get in the future going to be the Orange Man we had in the past? I don't know. I don't know. But at this point, I think a literal sock puppet, like my 7-year-old with a puppet, could run this country better than the guy who's allegedly the most powerful man in the world currently. My 2 cents. So anyway, Israel and Hamas still not getting along, and the United States also not getting along with Israel right now, because some people in the United States who scream real loud and throw really good temper tantrums don't want Israel and Hamas to get along. The relationship with Israel isn't the only one that's deteriorating. Recent reports show that the United States, Estados Unidos, and the United Kingdom, Estados El Kingdomos, have both announced criminal charges and sanctions after 7 hackers conducted widespread attacks on behalf of the Chinese government's intelligence agency. No, they're totally not a spy balloon. We would never do that, say the Chinese. Their targets allegedly included minor targets, included New Zealand's parliament, British parliamentarians, European Parliament members, Pentagon contractors, American journalists, senators, and more. Minor targets. Nobody special. I mean, forget about the fact that the big guy is bought and paid for, and his entire cabinet is bought and paid for, and this, like, what appears to be some type of abstracted, asymmetric, almost littoral combat type thing going on in the South China Sea is really just like a money laundering scheme. I don't know if anybody else caught that. It's like, enhance the rhetoric. We need more taxpayer dollars to gear up for war. Also, by the way, we get a whole bunch of money when we gear up for war. Yeah, I don't know if you guys caught that, but I kind of caught that. Like, and it's funny because the talking point for the last, I don't know, 4-ish decades or so that I've been alive has been that the Republicans are hawks. I don't know, man. Seems to be, if we just do a little bit of statistical analysis, if there's a D after your name and you're part of a political party, those dudes seem to get us into more wars than the guys with the R's after their name. And then even that big picture, it's all make believe anyway, because when C-SPAN is on, they have their little fights and their spats on the floor of Congress, right? They yell at each other, point fingers, they object, they throw papers, and then when they're done, they all go to the bar together and hang out. And they're like, "You did a great job acting on that one, homie. Oh man, thanks. Fist bump. Hey, let me buy you a drink." Oh, so anyway, maybe let's get like another $100 billion for Raytheon so we can each get a couple hundred million out of the deal. Like, sounds good. Let's fight about it tomorrow on camera. Like, it's a big act. They're all like, it's all the same team. They're all on the same team. They just want you and me and the rest of us to think that like there's two opposing forces here. It's the Hegelian dialectic in action: thesis, antithesis, synthesis. And the synthesis is this shitty federal government that we have. But I digress. China has reacted to this claim that they hacked all these wonderful people, claiming that these accusations are purely a political manipulation. I'm sorry, purely political manipulation, end quote. One associate professor at the University of Nottingham, Jonathan Sullivan, told CNN it's an escalation, but perhaps only because the United Kingdom has been rather mild in its previous actions, end quote. He also said, quote, "I would be astonished if Beijing does not respond in kind. China does not tend to receive such actions without retaliation," end quote. What's up, Bertrand? What's going on? Arthur Wabina, shalom. Melissa Tress, Swamp Fox, everybody else in the chat. Tony Guthrie, exactly, 100% Bear. Somebody with the name D is laughing their ass off. Well, be careful, man. That could be dangerous. You probably want some duct tape to hold that thing together if it's falling apart. Plus, it does have something to, especially if you're male, it has something to do with your age. It seems like the older you get, like the less ass that you have. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, typically speaking, the male half of the species just gets like flat backed, to where you're in like belt plus suspenders territory. Like for every decade you add, it's like we need one more thing to like help hold the pants up, like belt, suspenders, belt keepers, Velcro, duct tape, staple gun. So don't laugh your ass off. You're probably going to need that thing at some point. You should poop at least once a day. It's healthy. Now, Russia is saying regarding this mass casualty incident, the whole concept, according to RT, which we all know is Russian propaganda, they are saying this claim that they are claiming that this was backed by the Ukrainians, that somehow ISIS Khorasan, ISIS-K, who has taken credit for the attack, maybe didn't perpetrate the attack because the modus operandi doesn't exactly fit. Who knows? But they've taken credit for the attack, even though Russia is saying, no, it was the Ukrainians. There's an interesting blurb from an article at RT here that kind of sums up their officially unofficial position. Quote, "Russia does not need the excuse of a major terror attack to step up its operations against Ukraine. With President Macron of France ready to send French troops into Ukraine, 2,000 soldiers to begin with, according to the Russian intelligence chief Narishkin, and General Pierre Schill of France expressing French readiness to show strength in an op-ed in Le Monde, the Baltic states egging for NATO intervention in Ukraine, the move to supply F-16s to Ukraine, the clear warning by Russia that French NATO troops would be legitimate targets are enough reasons for a worsening military conflict in Ukraine. Ukraine could have officially distanced itself from the Moscow attack in a sober language. Instead, President Zelensky has abusively attacked Putin and Russia," It does not help Ukraine's case. Eh, I think it's arguably reasonable. Russia didn't exactly need a reason to escalate from a special military operation to a war, but never let a crisis go to waste. Point the fingers at those guys. They're the bad guys. They did it. We're going to go over there and kick their ass. Remember, like when 9/11 happened, when like 19 Saudi Arabians did that thing that may have included flying jets into buildings, may have not, allegedly. And then we were like, yeah, man, they did it. How did we? Oops, we're in Afghanistan now. What happened? Right? It's kind of Russia kind of pulling the same thing. They're like, yeah, we were attacked by ISIS-K. Everybody go kick Ukraine's ass. So I don't know. In an interesting article from MSN.com. Now, if you're like me, you probably only are vaguely familiar with who this air quote human being is. Allegedly, this person is a rap star. I don't listen to rap. That might surprise you because of my massive amount of street cred, but I actually don't listen to rap at all, even a little bit. I know who Tom McDonald is because I've heard a couple of his songs once or twice. That's about it. But apparently there's a human, air quote human, named Sean Diddy Combs, aka used to be called Puffy Combs, apparently. His home was raided by law enforcement as part of an investigation. 2 of his homes were reportedly searched by U.S. Homeland Security on Monday as part of a federal investigation. Federal officials raided Combs' Los Angeles home on Monday, according to Rolling Stone, and local Los Angeles news station Fox 11, amid lawsuits filed against him from accusers alleging the rapper and music mogul has R-worded and, you know, I freaking hate YouTube because you can't speak English anymore. He did really bad things to people in a completely unacceptable manner, rising to the level of things that Caleb House would target people for. Okay. So we're just going to, from this point forward, say scumbag stuff. Everybody tracking with what I mean by this? The big R word. He was doing the big R word to people. Agents also searched Combs' Miami residence Monday, Rolling Stone, NBC News, and the Associated Press reported. Will reach for comment regarding the case on Combs, a Homeland Security investigation. So HSI is typically the person that's going to handle anything, or the agency that's going to handle anything even remotely related to human trafficking. And trafficking is the exploitation of one person by another. So even prostitution can fall under human trafficking, depending on if certain parameters are met. So anyway, HSI said in a statement to USA Today that Homeland Security Investigations New York executed a law enforcement action as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. We will provide further information as it becomes available. Insert standard pic of cops standing in front of house being raided here in the article. Apparently, P. Diddy has been doing this for a hot minute. The Bad Boys record founder is facing multiple lawsuits filed in recent months claiming the music mogul big R-worded several alleged victims over the past few decades. Most recently, a music producer who worked with Combs on his most recent record sued him in February, accusing him of engaging in serious illegal activity, including the big R word. An anonymous accuser filed a lawsuit in December alleging the big R word when she was 17 years old. The previous month, a woman named blah, blah, blah filed suit saying that she was drugged, big R worded, and abused, and was the victim of being filmed against her will. Several days before this, his ex-girlfriend, the singer Cassie Ventura, accused Combs of the big R word, trafficking, and physical abuse. Combs and Cassie settled for an undisclosed amount a day later. And it goes on and on and on, on and on and on and on and on. So apparently dude has flown the coop. The rumor is his private jet was headed into southeast of the United States, into those that archipelago, those islands out there where some other famous pervert also happened to have had a house. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how all that shakes out. But I hope he gets everything that he's got coming to him. And allegedly, rumor there's a bunch of other air quote artists who are coming out of the woodwork now, basically saying like it's a known fact that Combs has been gay, and that he routinely required favors from people to be a part of his record label or to appear on his records, and that it's just widely known and accepted in the music industry because everybody's got to do something like that in order to get famous in the music industry. Krista J said gross. And Krista J, I cannot agree with you more. It's absolutely gross. And I hope a 100-pound chunk of hail falls out of the sky and squashes him like a bug, be it the Father's will. Yeah. So yet again, another person. And there's lots of pictures of this dude with the Clintons, with Obama, with other powerful, influential people. How interesting. How interesting. How interesting. Yeah, keep that on your radars for the time being. If something else shakes out with Sean P. Diddy Puffy Combs, I'll let y'all know. Also, keep your ears peeled for further mass casualty incidents. I don't know why the the priming for that subject is being done, the predictive programming for that subject is being done, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to, put all the pieces together and go, oh, invasion from the southern border, collapsing U.S. infrastructure, external military threats to the country, indigenous bad actors, reckless federal law enforcement. Anybody seen what the ATF has been up to lately? Holy cow. Yeah. Yeah. So, MCIs, mass casualty incidents, keep that on your radars. And that's the show for today. I'm going to tell you guys about some stuff briefly. Haha. On Patreon this morning, there's a video about dealing with dogs in SHTF. And when I say dealing with dogs, I don't mean like how you're going to feed them. I mean, what do you do if somebody has a dog and it's a threat? So you can check that out in my limited experience if you want to, the ways that hypothetically I may have had to solve that problem before. That's on Patreon. Link is in the description. Refuge Medical. It's this little tiny company you might have heard of. Somehow inexplicably, like we got product on 4 continents now. 101 lives saved with our kits, plus 19, I believe, from Project Tribute, which puts us right around 120 lives saved with our kits. Which is incredible. Praise the Most High. And right now, if you spend, I think it's $199 or more, and miraculously, stuff is in stock at refugemedical.com. If you spend $199 or more, you automatically get entered into a banging giveaway. White phosphor dual tube Gen 3 nods, dual tube white phosphor. Yeah. Thank you, our friends from Fallout Optics or Nightfall Optics. Wake up, brain. Nightfall Optics. And Hardhead Veterans threw in a bump helmet for that. And there's a mount. It's like a turnkey thing. My wife is in the chat saying bear swag, which was literally the next thing on my list to discuss. Good morning, honey. I love you. I hope you're well rested. I, for one, am not. But yeah, refugemedical.com. Every order over $199 gets you entered automatically to win the nods giveaway. Or if you share pics of your existing refuge kits on socials and tag them at Refuge Medical, that gets you an entry as well. So you should do that. If for some reason you're worried about another tanker smashing into a bridge and another mass casualty incident, it'd probably be handy to have a tourniquet or two laying around. And if you don't, please consider Refuge Medical. We appreciate it. I like being able to pay my people, keep the lights on. It's pretty cool. It's this thing we call commerce in 2024. It's a little touch and go, let's be honest, but we're doing our best. We're doing our best. Also, for everybody who's been asking, the bigger kits, the backpack size kits, we're doing a full revamp of the Field Medic and the Stomp Bag to re-release new versions of those with new bags and updated contents, and they're going to be orchestrated essentially in like a level 1 pack, level 2 pack, level 3 pack. Level 1 being like I I know that I should put tourniquets on limbs and put the sticky thing over the holes in the chest. Like that's your level of training. Copy that. That'd be like a level 1, just a larger backpack style kit. A level 2 is going to be more of like a mass casualty style kit, which is your basic March algorithm: massive bleeding airway, respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, everything else. So your food groups: chest seals, gauze, hemostatics, tourniquets, etc. And the level 3 kit is we've got a buddy of ours who's an SME that we're bringing in, who was used to put people back together again after they got shot, stabbed, blown up as part of SOF. And so we're gonna be hanging out with him, and the stomp bag will be like an actual medic bag. And so that'll be the level 3 kit. So all that's coming. And I'm just telling you guys right now because I'm going to have to tell you sooner or later. We have bent over backwards trying to source American made bags for these backpack kits. And either the quality's not there, the volume is, but the quality's not, or um, the quality's there, but the volume's not. We just can't get them. Can't get them in a timely manner. So, what's up, Mark O'Connor? Cot lumber, straightest 2x4s on planet Earth. And so, in any event, we're looking at some other options, including like names you'd be very familiar with, like Tasmanian Tiger, Eberly Stock, several others. And yeah, stuff that's like currently being used by guys in the field right now that's not falling apart. And so I will let you know when it comes time to release all that stuff, but know that after investing 18 months in trying to create or source an American-made backpack at scale that doesn't suck, it's been a kick in the nuts. We've lost a shit ton of money trying to do it. So, and I don't know if you know this, but in business, if you lose enough money long enough, you don't have a business anymore. So we're doing the best we can with what we got where we're at. Now, my wife said that I should tell you about Bear Independent swag. So if you need a coffee cup, a hoodie, a t-shirt, I don't know. I don't even know what we have anymore. Toothbrush, scented candle, Bear playing cards. I told you, don't email me. Today's not the day. Bear, I went to the website. There were no Bear scented candles. What would they even smell like? Chainsaws, sweat, fire, like, I don't know, BO. No, but if you want a t-shirt, a coffee mug, whatever else, bearindependent.com, you you can check that out. And that actually helps us build our house that we're building right now. So appreciate all of y'all. Sweat and Whiskey, Andy Barnes. Now there you go. Now listen, what is it? It's 7:07 a.m. This is unopened, but it was sitting on my desk. This is Screwball peanut butter whiskey, unopened. Look at the cap. See, it's not been opened. It's just here that it needs to be taken home and treated appropriately at some point throughout the day. So if you want some cool Bear stuff, bearindependent.com, grindstoneministries.com. If you need a copy of the scriptures, what's the scriptures? It's the word of the Most High, this book right here. How come it's not the King James version? It's just a new translation. That's all. I would submit probably a better, more utilitarian translation, unless you're just really into speaking Old English. If you just get off on the these and the thous and the verilies, then stick with the King Jimmy, man. All for you. But I like the scriptures because it's a new translation of the original source texts. And I'm a big fan of it. And so if you need a copy, you can get it at grindstoneministries.com at our cost, or shoot us an email and I'll send you one for free if you can't afford one. And of course, calebhouse.com, Caleb with a K. If you want to make sure that people that hurt kids get what's coming to them, and then we put those kids back together again, we do anti-human trafficking stuff. I know I'm probably the last person on planet Earth that you would think like we should pick that guy to get into anti-human trafficking stuff. Because like, I don't know if you know this, but like chainsaws and sheep, not really applicable on the front end to anti-human trafficking. But it turns out our creator's awesome, and he convicted us to do this stuff, and so we started doing this stuff, and now we've done a fairly good job at it thus far. And the parts that like we've totally messed up, The Father is super gracious and they weren't critical. So we're actively rescuing and restoring kids who are being serially big R-worded by assholes. And if you would like to help us stay active in that fight, if the spirit convicts you, you can visit caleb with a K.org and come see us. DJ Truth said, has anyone seen the $1.7 trillion infrastructure money at work? Yeah, in Ukraine, man. They're doing great with it in Ukraine. Tony Guthrie, Bear, just received our copies of the scriptures. Thanks again. Bless you, Tony. Praise Yah. So that's what I got for y'all today. Let's talk to the creator because, man, if we don't, I'll tell you, I need him today. I need him every day, but super duper extra today. It's going to go terrible for us if we don't talk to Dad. Oh, good morning, Father Yah. Thank you for being sovereign over all things. Father, please give us the energy that we need today to be your hands and feet. Put us where you need us. Let us do your will with a smile on our face. Father, please equip and empower us to be good stewards of all the things that you've blessed us mightily with. Father, to be a lamp to the nations, to everybody who's out there hurting or separated from you, Father, that they might see us and see a living testimony of just how awesome you are. Oh, Father, I love you. Father, thank you for making a way for us to come home again by the blood of Messiah. We would be so screwed without you. Father, be with everybody within the sound of my voice that's going through stuff, capital S stuff. Everybody who's hurting, everybody who's tired, everybody who's sad, everybody who's dealing with uncertainty or financial struggle. Father, you're sovereign over all things, including our capital S stuff. So, Father, I'm asking that you just be indwelt in these situations, that you would build a testimony in these people, and that we would prevail through your awesomeness over whatever these trials and tribulations are. Father, please give us strength and power and authority in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach to be your hands and feet. Father, pour out your spirit for wisdom and discernment because we don't know what we're doing. Oh, we need you, Father. Father, give us peace that surpasses all understanding in the face of adversity, that we would be calm, that we would be still and know that you are Yah. Father, if there's anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, I rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. Father, please put a hedge around these people and protect them today. Provide for them today and bless them today. And I lay all of them at your feet in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Oh. All right. I love y'all. Go do good stuff. I'm going to do my best to grab this day by the throat and bend it to the will of the Most High. I hope y'all have a blessed day. Shalom.